Imagine this, for 60 straight days the sky never truly clears. Every morning you wake up to the same sound. Rain pounding on leaves, water dripping from rocks. Cold wind pushing through your shelter. Your clothes never dry, your fire struggles to stay alive. The ground beneath your feet slowly turns into thick sticky mud. Now remove one more thing, you don't have a waterproof jacket. You don't have a warm house, you don't even have a roof that can keep every drop out. You are an ancient human, living tens of thousands of years ago. Most people imagine our ancestors surviving blizzards, hunting giant animals, or fighting predators. But few ever ask a much stranger question: what happened when it simply wouldn't stop raining? Not for a day, not for a week, but for nearly 2 months. At first the rain probably didn't seem like the greatest danger. Water meant rivers stayed full, plants kept growing, animals still wandered through the forests. But after enough days the rain quietly transformed the entire world. Trails disappeared beneath mud, small streams became violent rivers. Game animals changed their migration routes. Every hunt became slower, every step became harder, and every mistake became more expensive, because wet people lose heat far faster than dry ones. Even in temperatures that aren't freezing, staying soaked for days can slowly drain the body's warmth. Today we call it hypothermia. Ancient humans simply experienced it, long before they understood why. But here's the surprising part. Scientists don't think our ancestors just waited for the weather to improve. They adapted, again and again. Archaeological sites across Europe and Asia reveal something interesting. Many ancient camps weren't built in wide, open spaces. Instead, people repeatedly chose rock overhangs, limestone caves, and natural cliffs that blocked rain, while still allowing smoke from fires to escape. At first glance these places seem ordinary, but after weeks of endless rain, they became the difference between life and death. Still, even caves created new problems. Moisture crept inside, wood stayed damp, smoke gathered beneath the ceiling. Sleeping on the cold ground became miserable, and that's when another clever habit begins to make sense. Researchers have found evidence that ancient people often covered living areas with layers of grass, branches, bark, and animal skins. It wasn't just for comfort. Those layers lifted their bodies above wet ground, a simple idea, but one that could preserve precious body heat night after night. Then came the biggest challenge of all: fire. Most people assume making fire was the hard part. Keeping it alive was even harder, especially when everything outside was soaked. Fresh branches wouldn't burn, rotting logs were filled with water. Even dead wood often became useless after weeks of rain. So ancient humans started thinking differently. Instead of searching for wood after storms, they likely stored dry fuel before the worst weather arrived. Some caves contain charcoal deposits that suggest fires burned repeatedly in the same protected spots for generations. Not because those places were convenient, because they worked. One surviving ember could save hours of work. Losing it might mean spending an entire freezing night without warmth. But even a perfect fire couldn't solve another problem quietly growing outside: food. Rain changes animal behavior. Large herds move, small prey stays hidden. Tracks vanish almost instantly beneath fresh mud. A skilled hunter could suddenly find himself staring at an empty forest. So survival became less about chasing animals and more about patience. Ancient humans probably widened their diets whenever hunting became unreliable: fish trapped in swollen streams, shellfish near flooded coastlines, roots hidden beneath wet soil, mushrooms, berries, anything the season offered. Modern hunter-gatherer communities show this same flexibility today. When one food disappears, another takes its place. Not because it's preferred, because survival has no favorites. And then, something unexpected happened. The rain may have actually brought people closer together. Imagine trying to survive alone through 60 wet days. Finding food, keeping fire alive, watching for predators, repairing shelters, all while exhausted. The odds were terrible, but a group could divide every task. One person searched for fuel, another watched children. Others repaired shelters or searched for food whenever the rain briefly eased. Cooperation became another survival tool, one just as important as stone axes or sharp spears. Scientists believe this growing dependence on teamwork may have shaped human social behavior far more than many people realize, but the rain carried one final danger. One nobody could see: disease. Constant moisture softens skin. Small cuts become infected. Standing water attracts insects. Rotting food spoils faster. Even simple injuries become serious without modern medicine. Yet somehow, our ancestors endured, not because they were stronger than us, but because they constantly observed the world around them. They noticed which caves stayed dry, which trees shed water best, which valleys flooded first, which rocks blocked the wind. Every storm became another lesson. Every mistake became knowledge passed to the next generation. This is something archaeology quietly keeps revealing. Ancient humans weren't simply reacting to nature. They were studying it, testing it, learning from it, generation after generation. And perhaps the strangest part of all, those endless rainy months may have changed the human mind itself. Planning ahead, saving dry fuel, choosing better shelter, working together, thinking beyond today. These weren't just survival tricks. They were the foundations of civilization long before the first cities ever existed. So the next time you hear rain tapping against your window, remember this. For our ancestors, that same sound could continue for weeks. It could destroy food, kill fires, flood shelters, and test every skill they had. Yet somehow they didn't simply survive the storm. They learned from it, because history wasn't only shaped by mammoths, predators, or freezing winters. Sometimes, it was shaped by nothing more than long months of rain that refused to stop.